Hello and welcome to the Foxden Resource Library. Today I'm going to show you a couple of watercolor techniques that I use in my Letstrom journal. So let's begin. First things first, I just want a little disclaimer in here. I have only tried this with the Letstrom 1917 journal. I don't know how other brands of journals will stand up to the rigors of watercolor, so please use with caution. The first technique is a very simple one. All I do is pick up some watercolor with my Pentel Aquash water brush pen, which I'll link to down below, and then I simply paint on some color. It's nothing fancy, no real technique here, just painting it on, and then just grab a paper towel, wad it up, and dab away the excess moisture. This will give it a nice cloudy look. The second technique is a little bit more bold. Put down a layer of plain clear water and then go pick up some strong pigment from whatever colors you want. Dab them in the wet spots and they should start to disperse. And if you add a second color, the colors will blend with each other very nicely on the page. Then, just like before, take a wadded up paper towel and dab away the excess moisture. The longer you leave the pigment on, the more bold the color will be. I dabbed it away pretty early because it was a little bit more water than I was comfortable with, but it does still have a really cool effect. The third technique is very similar to the first one, where it's just a nice flat layer of color, but I start with one color on the left and then another color on the right, and I just blend them into each other very gently. Then I grab a piece of saran wrap, crumple it up, and dab away the excess moisture. This gives it a really cool, crinkly effect. Make sure that whenever you're doing this technique that you wipe off the watercolor from the saran wrap on a paper towel between dabs, because otherwise you could accidentally transfer paint and make it look messy. I have to admit, this is probably my favorite technique out of all the ones I'm showing you today. I use it all the time. The fourth technique, again, starts out the same as the first. I lay down a flat layer of color, then I get some regular table salt and sprinkle it over the wet paint. Once it's completely dry, you can brush away the excess salt and throw it away, and then you'll have a really cool speckled effect, because the salt sucks the water into the crystal and creates tiny little starbursts. And there you have it. Those are 4 of my most common watercolor techniques that I use in my journal. Of course, keep paper towels next to you when you're doing this so you can dab away excess moisture and keep it from getting crazy on your journal pages. Lots of people ask me if this makes the page buckle or if it bleeds through the page. In my experience, it doesn't bleed through the page. You can see it through the other side, but only as much as you can with other inks like Tombow dual brush pens. After it's dry, it does leave the page a little bit wavy, or crispy as I like to call it, but I don't mind. I really think that it adds character to my journal. Obviously, this is something you need to decide for yourself if it's worth it to you. I would definitely recommend that before you try it in the main body of your journal, go to a back page to test it out first. I'll list all the materials that I use down below, and let me know if you give these a shot. I've had a lot of luck with them and a lot of fun, and I think that you can really have a lot of fun with them too. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you later.